Hi guys, Schoi here with a build guide. I am currently a top 3 fighter player, and I will be showing you what I am doing for my build. And starting off with the perks, I am running Swift, Sword Mastery, Weapon Mastery, and Defense Mastery. I am currently taking Weapon Mastery so that I can use a Longbow. I think Longbow is in a really good spot right now because of the 20% armor penetration, up from 5%. And the other reason I'm using that, other than the fact that it's really strong, is because when I'm fighting someone like a ranger or a warlock or a wizard, it's more convenient to fight against them in a 1v1 when I have a weapon that I can draw more rapidly for like when I need to fire. Because otherwise, if I'm using a crossbow, then they can corner peek me and get in a free hit when I'm reloading or something like that. And it's just really inconvenient. So I think the longbow is much more useful for engaging a player like that. Anyway, I'm starting off with the gear selection. So like I said, I'm rocking a longbow. I'm currently taking things like physical power or add weapon damage. I'm currently wearing a necklace of peace. I think necklace of peace is BIS on fighter. The other alternative is a bear pendant with max health and useful rolls. Currently on my necklaces, I just take like anything useful I can grab. Typically that's going to be some type of resistances or max health or anything like that, or even true damage would be okay. I'm currently using the Barbuda helmet because I'm not prioritizing speed whatsoever. If you would like a little bit of extra move speed in your build, feel free to rock a Chapelle de Fer. Here's an example of a really good Chapelle de Fer set. On my Barbuda helmet, or the Chapelle de Fer, I typically look for health or any type of useful rolls. So for example, this one, I have Vigor and Action Speed, and on the Chapelle de Fer, I have Vigor, Max Health, and Physical Power. For the chest piece, you're always going to want to try to get Dark Plate Armor, and you want to look for health and anything useful other than that as well. So this one, for example, has 2 Vigor for max health and buff duration bonus. Keep in mind, buff duration bonus also increases our sprint and second wind, and that is pretty helpful. If you do not have enough money for a nice dark plate armor, then you can buy a good dark cuirass. For example, this dark cuirass has 6 max health and 1.8% action speed, and that was literally only 100 gold because almost no one uses this item. So this is a very good budget kit item, the dark cuirass. I'm currently using heavy gauntlets because it has higher PDR than light gauntlets, and I typically look for max health rolls with anything useful in addition to that. So for example, this one has MDR, 1 max health, and 2 fizz power. For the rings, I would highly recommend getting Grimsmile rings, and I think that getting cheap Grimsmiles with anything useful on them for like cheap is better than getting a nice expensive Ring of Vitality, simply because of these like 4 rolls area, and also just the 2 strength base on the Grimsmile itself. So I would recommend right now, as of me posting this video, to go with Grimsmiles. If you're not in a patch where Grimsmiles are out yet, because sometimes they're not, then there's nothing wrong with getting like a purple Ring of Vitality with like max health and like anything useful on there as well. Nothing wrong with that at all. The pants, I'm going with plate pants, and I look for max health. So for example, this one has 6 max health and max health bonus. And my boots, typically you want rugged boots. For example, I have some really nice ruggeds over here. This one has 2 edgy, 5 move speed, 1 will. This one has 1 edgy, 4 move speed, fizz power, PDR. These are going to be your actual bis, but right now I'm in a kit that doesn't really cost a whole lot of money, and it's still really effective. So for example, this buckled boots, which is a nice alternative rugged because it's like typically like 1/3 the price. This one's got 2 strength, 5 move speed, PDR on it. And yeah, so these Grimsmiles I bought, by the way, these were first page, right? I'm just looking by cheap Grimsmiles with useful rolls on the first page. Not really a whole lot of expense going on here. The shield that I like to use is the buckler. Obviously, not very many fighters use this item, and it's understandable why. You can't really block a whole lot with it. I mainly use this to be fast when I'm attacking someone in melee. For rolls on a shield, the most important one is armor rating, and then anything other than that, you want max health, magic resistance, fizz damage bonus, head weapon damage, buff duration, anything. But armor rating is going to be the most important one. For the falchion, I'm just using a random legendary falchion that I have. I've got a little bit of physical power on it. It was pretty cheap. It was only like 400 gold, so that's what I'm using right now. Alright, and that's my build. I'm using sprint and second wind. And also, whenever you are playing a PDR fighter, you're going to want to bring a lot of Francisca axes I typically bring at least 4. So when you see a really geared team in the lobby, or pre-lobby, what you want to do, and here's what separates a good fighter from a bad fighter. You're going to want to put your campfires at the bottom of your inventory, and then you're going to want to put your Francisca axes in your quick slots like this. Because it takes multiple seconds in-game to equip them like this, and you don't really have time to do that mid-fight. So, here, I'm going to buy some torches. So if you put your torches here, then you put 4 Francisca axes in your quick slot. You could even put on another Francisca axe here if you don't need to see in the area that you're fighting in. And then I typically put a potion like this. So during the fight, I will typically have 4 Francisca axes ready to go with a flex slot for like potion bandaging. Now with potion bandaging, I always bring 1 stack of high quality meds. And I typically will bring a big pool of shitty meds over here. I'll buy them so that you can see. You're always going to want to bring 1 pack of potions of protection. And if you have the money for it, you're also going to want to bring 1 stack of magic prot pots as well. Invis pots are pretty useful as well, so feel free to experiment with those if you've never tried that before. I typically use them to maybe hide like a rogue, or sometimes even mob de-aggro depending on the situation. Alright, now that that is done, I'm going to go through buying an entire kit, and then so you guys can see the kit gearing process. So starting off with a falchion, I'm going to go ahead and buy a legendary falchion. I'll try to take whatever this is. Alright. So we don't really need to spend a whole lot of money on the falchion. We're just going to look for a 44 base with anything useful on there. Just literally 1 single useful roll whatsoever is nice. This one is armor penetration and buff duration bonus, so I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Okay, so now we have a weapon. Now we're going to go ahead and look for a buckler. If you want to see better examples of like better base for this build, here's an example of a really nice longbow, by the way. It's got 46 base with 2 additional weapon damage. That brings it up to 48 base. And here's a really good dark plate, for example. It's got 1 vigor, 5 max health, and 1 physical power. And plate gear, you get better resistances with the quality, right? So for example, this one has 3 MDR more than the purple dark plate, and it has 7 armor rating more than the purple dark plate. So rarity on gear for fighter is super important. So make sure you're always getting like purple or like legendary gear, even if the rolls are really bad, because you get a lot of your PDR on fighter from just the rarity of the gear itself. And that's very important, by the way. Also for PDR right now in this kit. Also again, this is not a BIS kit. For me, this is more of like a cheap, very effective kit that I'm comfortable running with randoms. So my health is at 174, and my PDR is 54.2 without the shield, but when I do put on the shield, I'm around 63. My magic resistance is around 22%. I am a Nightmare Skeleton race at the moment, so I am taking minus 10 MR in order to receive 10 armor rating. Some people might ask, well, how are you killing people when you're this slow? And the answer to that question is Francisca axes. And also, I have super high action speed, and I'm consistently chasing people with a longbow as well. So if you want to be faster on fighter, you can either rock Lightfoot boots, and I'll show you another good example of Lightfoot boots. Here's some really good Lightfoot boots. 3 max health, 2 strength, 1.3% move speed bonus. If you want to be faster on fighter, you could rock Lightfoots, or you could rock a Chapelle de Fer. Up to you. You could even run light gauntlets as well. I think I have a really good pair of light gauntlets in my stash. Yeah, here's a nice pair. 2 max health, 1 true, and buff duration bonus. So if you want to be faster in fighter, those are the flex spots. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. For my cape, I'm typically just looking for action speed because I'm taking slow weapons. Action speed is really helpful on the longbow and the falchion. I'm not really building any type of damage in these loadouts. I was building them earlier in Season 3. I was building like 40 strength kits, like with a lot of phys power. But I found that just stacking a lot of resistances is just overall more useful and reliable than stacking all that damage. So 2% action speed is the max roll on a cloak. So right now I'm just looking for items that have things like that. Alright, now back to buying the gear. So we already bought a falchion. So we're going to go ahead and buy a buckler. I'm going to look for an epic one with armor rating. This one's pretty good too. It's got projectile damage reduction, 14 armor, and MDR on it. I think I'm going to go ahead with this one. Also, that one hasn't been bought in a while, and I kind of want to help that guy out. Alright, so now that we've got these two melee weapons out the way, let's go ahead and buy a Longbow. So here is 45 base with 2 add weapon damage. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. We're going to go ahead and put that in our kit here. Now let's go ahead and buy a dark plate armor. This one's going to be probably one of the more expensive pieces in the kits that I like to put together. I think I'm going to go for the dark plate that has less action speed, but 1 more max health and 1 more armor. Alright, so now that the chest piece is out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get some pants. You could rock Wolf Hunter. I'm currently wearing plate pants. Or you could even rock heavy leather. You do get more PDR with the plate pants, and that is what I am going for. This is 2% action speed, 5 max health. That's a very high action speed roll. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. That was a really good roll. Alright, now that we've been buying quite a bit of gear for our loadout, I am going to take off all my gear, and then we can see what we're rocking here. And then I can adjust my gearing selection as needed. Alright, so now that we have our gear on, I'm going to go ahead and buy a nice Barbuda helmet. You could alternatively buy a Chapelle de Fer, like I said. I'm going to be looking for an epic one with max health. I like this one over here. It's got 2 vigor and 3 max health. I think I'm going to buy that. This one is 2 strength and 2 max health with fizz damage bonus. That's not bad either. I think I'm going to go for the 2 vigor, 3 max health though. I really like that one. Alright, now I'm going to get a necklace of peace, but I think I'll do jewelry last because I don't know what hand armor and cloak and foot armor I'll be able to obtain, so I'm going to do that last. For the Grim Smiles, you just look up the Grim Smile ring, and you're just going to look for like cheap ones that have 4 or maybe 3 useful rolls, and that'll be pretty easy most of the time. Here's an example of a pretty budget Grim Smile ring. We're only on page 4, and this one has magic resistance, magical damage reduction, and a little bit of armor penetration. And we'll go ahead and slap that on. Here's an example of what I'm going to buy right here. We've got max health bonus and action speed. I'm going to go ahead and slap that on. Alright, now I'm going to look for a cloak. I'm going to look for a vigilant cloak. Well, actually no. First I'm going to look at my action speed. Right now it's at 7.9%. It's not bad. So I'm going to look for heavy gauntlets with max health. Got 1 fizz power, 2 max health, pretty cheap. It's not a bad deal. Might get for that one. MDR, 3 max health, not bad. Huge armor pen, 3 max health, not bad. I think I'll go with that huge armor pen one. Right here. Pretty good. Alright. And now we're gonna get some boots. I'm feeling rugged boots today, but let's see how we're doing on cost. It's pretty up there in cost. I don't know if I'm going to be doing ruggeds today. I think I'm going to be going for buckle boots. Alright, so this one has 2 dexterity, 5 move speed, and buff duration bonus. So go ahead and slap that on. And with this much dexterity, I don't think we need more. Yeah, we have plenty of dexterity and action speed, so currently that's 11.6% action speed, and with the sword out, that would be 16.6%, and that is plenty. So now what we want to do is just build for like other useful things, right? So for example, my PDR could be better. So maybe we can get like a PDR necklace or like a PDR cape or something. That'll buff us up a little bit as well. Yeah, 3 max health bonus. I'll put that on. Let's see how we doing. Now we're at a solid PDR amount. And we do get more on that shield bar, like I said. So now, what we can do is I'm just going to go for a necklace of peace. Like a really good necklace of peace. Yeah, these are not even that much better. Oh, this one has action speed. That one is nice. I like that a lot. I'm gonna go for that. That's 2k, but that's fine. That's a nice one. Alright, so now we're at really high action speed. So on the sword bar, you've got 18% action speed. We've got 180 health. Got high PDR. Becomes around 64% with that shield out, like I said. And that is near the cap. And we also have a nice bit of MR. We got 21.6. So you're not going to die right away from Curses of Pain, and you can actually do something about that. That's why you bring magic protection potions. And yeah, you have around Barbarian level health. And you've got super high dexterity like a Slayer fighter. And you've got okay damage because you got a legendary falchion with Grim Smiles on, allowing you to hit like a normal player. And that is up for my build. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So thank you for watching. Alright, now that I covered the build video, I'm going to show a footage area where I am fighting two Warlocks that are both around 308 or maybe 320 move speed, and I'm going to show you how I catch up to them and what I do against them, right? So, for example, I'm not running a Chapelle de Fer, and I'm not running Lightfoot Boots, right? I'm a pretty slow build. My build, I like to win a 1v1. I'm designed to be already on top of them, because I'm very comfortable using Francisca axes, using corners, using invis pots. So for me, getting to a player is not an issue. Now, if you do want to be faster, obviously, though, like I said, run the Chapelle de Fer or something, right? Now, I'm going to show you footage of how I chase Warlocks down while being very slow. Because fighters are always complaining about Warlocks, and they're like, oh, I can't do anything to them. Warlocks are OP. Oh, Phantom Eyes is broken. Oh, I can't do anything. They're busted. Warlocks OP. Cancer class. Yeah. All right, anyway, so here's some footage of how to chase Warlocks as a slow PDR fighter.
Okay, coming. Warlocks. First one. We fucked their Hydras to a lot of damage. Behind you. Okay. Nice. He's phantomizing. He's phantomizing. I'm right on him. Killed him. He's dead.
Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the build video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. But before you go, I'm going to mention one last thing. If I am rocking a super powerful Turbo Abyss kit, like 20k or above, make sure you bring a Troll's Blood, right? Because our effective health pool against physical damage on fighter is really high. So if we have a nice potion of healing going, and we have a Troll's Blood going, it's pretty difficult to kill us if we're fighting a melee target. So make sure you bring a Troll's Blood if you're running a super expensive kit, and then you're going to rock that kind of before you start engaging PvP. It does last quite a long time, so make sure you bring that if you are looking to even get even better at fighter.